and Steph are here in sunny Anglesey and we're having a blast. Today we're going to make the Blair dress together and we're going to let you know how we get on. So we're here now to tell you about the Blair dress and the fabric. So this is the Blair dress. If you can see, it's I thought, simple shirt dress, but there are quite a few pattern pieces. Let's have a look. 12 pattern pieces for a shirt dress, although I think four of them are for the shirt, because you can make a top as well. But we're going to make the dress today, and you can come along and make it with us. So we're going to show you the fabrics that we're both doing it in, because they're very different. So come on, Steph, talk us through your fabric, honey.
Well, this is a fabric I got ages ago. I think I got it from Pound Fabrics, actually. It's like a cotton sateen, but it's very, very colourful. And I've been saving it to find just the right pattern, and I think the shirt dress is going to look amazing in this. It's a nice, stable, non-stretch woven. It's kind of silky smooth. It's lovely.
Oh.
It's like,
you'd feel a vision, because it is very, very smooth. It's going to hang really nice.
Sateen, isn't it? Would you call it a cotton sateen?
Yes.
I think it's a mix. It's not cotton, but
the pattern on it blows mine out of the water, I've got to tell you. So that's Steph's. Let's get up close and you can see it. So that's Steph's fabric. So we'll drape that on Steph's shoulder.
Okay.
And this is mine. It's got to be pink, hasn't it? I'm doing it in a double gauze, which is a large check on one side, which is okay, but this is the side that I prefer, with the popping pink small check on. It is a very, very lightweight double gauze, which is going to be great for the summer. We've got sunshine.
Yeah.
We've got sunshine today. That's why we're outside in the garden.
This is summer. We're having it today.
So that's
switch on tomorrow.
Yeah. So you've got one in a cotton sateen, beautiful bright colours, and one in a double-sided double gauze, because I'm going to, I don't know if you can see there, the top in the small check, and then the rest of it in the large check. So we're going to go off now and make a start, and we'll bob back at various stages throughout the day and let you know how we've got on and how long it takes to do a careful, considered sew.
Yeah, we're not going to rush it. I don't believe in rushing too much. I want to make this right. I want to be able to wear it for a long time, so I'm not going to be rushing it.
No. So if you're a slow sewer and you want to know how long the Blair dress is going to take you, this is the vlog for you. So here we are. We'll bob back out for a bit of sun, and it's gorge. So before we look at where we're up to, we'll talk about the sizes. Do you want to tell them about the sizing issues, Steph?
Yeah, there were. I know we're always used to 12, 14, 16. But with this pattern, there was just, the numbers didn't correlate to the ones we're familiar with anyway. And it only actually gave you one size, and then you had to
work it
forwards or backwards.
So it gave you the finished garment measurements for a size 10, and it just said add or subtract 2 inches per size from that point. 2 inches.
Was it 2 inches?
Yeah. It's 2 inches per size from that start point, which is fine. But, we're used to it having all the detail for all the sizes. Just a little niggle.
And there was a heck of a lot of ease in the pattern as well.
There
so
is.
The way we worked it out was off the finished garment size in the end, because neither of us like particularly baggy clothes. So we wanted a closer fit. So rather than go off the size measurements, we went off the finished garment thing, because they added 6 inches of ease.
A lot,
which was
a
lot.
Yeah.
I felt it was a lot. I know it's a fashionable thing, but I'm too old for all that.
So a good way little tip, if you're unsure on the sizing and how it's going to fit, decide where you want the fit with this dress. Because it's a shirt dress, we chose the bust measurement as our focal point of where we wanted it to fit.
Yeah.
Not loosely, but not like a sausage. So we use the tape measure
And gave
round the finished
ourselves.
garment measurements, and just sort of, if
Yeah.
a friend's with you, it's easier to do this, and just
We
held it and
probably
had a
about
look what the ease was at that
about
point.
3 inches of ease, I think we gave ourselves,
Yeah,
didn't we?
yeah.
In the end, which was ample for us.
So we have made a size 8,
And a
and I'm
size.
feeling great about that. You said,
Yeah, because we both used a size 8, didn't we? Or did I use a
no,
10?
we've just both done the same.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see, because we're both similar sizes,
I've just been stretched.
but Steph's a lot taller than me, and I'm little and dumpy. So we're going to see what it looks like on the same dress size on 2 different bodies, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see how it turns out.
I know. If it's awful, you'll never see this one.
Yeah.
So let's talk about where we're up to so far. The first thing we had to do was the collar. You know, throw you in at the deep end and do a collar. Why not? So where's your collar, Steph? You feeling
My
with it?
collar, absolutely.
We've done our collars. We're pleased with them.
Yeah.
And we've made some notes for tips, because the collar can make or break a shirt dress.
Oh, absolutely.
Make or break it.
Yeah.
So we're going to read through these. We've got our notes. I'm going to take turns. So go on.
Are we?
Yeah.
Right.
So first one.
Right, so fragile coin is when you're starting with a tiny piece of fabric, such as that was. I wouldn't start right on the edge. I'd start a centimetre or so in, and then backstitch to the edge and come back again, because you can so easily get a bird's nest.
Yeah.
Either that or use a donkey, like a little piece of fabric, and sew off that onto
Donkey. We call them a hub jumper, don't we, girls?
Oh, I call them a donkey. In quilting, they tend to call them a donkey.
Ah, right. Okay. Never heard that one.
Right.
So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2. What have we got written here? Oh, yes. The first thing you have to do is sew your front and back collars together with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And on the interface side of our collars, we marked out the 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way round the seam.
So that you get your points matching.
Bob
It's so easy to go off as you're coming round.
Yeah. For the sake of a couple of minutes, just measuring that 1/4 inch and marking it all in, so you've got a sewing line, solid sewing line.
Yeah, and
Makes
then you
a
can
big
stop your
difference.
needle exactly where you need it to stop, and do that one little stitch on an angle.
You're jumping on to the next one now. Go on. So that's the tip on the collar marking. And then, go on, Steph.
Then, when you get to the point, don't just pivot straight off. Just do one little stitch across at an angle, and it just makes it easier to get your point out afterwards.
Yeah, because we like a nice point on our collars, don't we? And then the last little tip that I've got, because it happened to me and I forgot to do it, learn from my mistakes. When you're sandwiching your collar in between your collar stand, I don't know if you can see. And my little tip is, where your collar finishes and joins in, just put a pin crossways through them all up to hold it in place. Because what happened with me, it only takes a little shift, and at one end my collar was coming out, so I had to unpick, push it back in, and re-sew that little bit. But if you just put that pin there, it stops it from moving.
And another added to that as well, I would also
You
mark that curve on both sides, because again, like your point, it's an area that's so easy just to get it a few stitches wrong, and it makes a big difference. Don't forget, that's going to be very noticeable at the front of your dress there, so it is worth taking that little bit extra.
Yeah, I'm not saying ours are going to be bob on perfect,
no.
but if you take the time and you try, chances are you're going to get a good garment.
Yeah.
So we've done the collars.
Yeah.
And we've also started our bodice. So I made the decision with mine, because mine's double gauze, to do French seams.
And I decided, because we're doing it together, that I do French
Do
seams
French
on mine
seams
as
as well. Oh, go on then. So they're my French seams on the inside.
Yep. And they're mine.
And perfect on the outside. So we've done the shoulder seams and the side seams so far. Any tips on French seams, Steph?
Well, I was just about to say that my fabric is easier to work with. It's a much more stable fabric. There's a lot of movement in Christine's fabric, and I think she's got much more of a challenge on than I have, because you press this and it just stays put. It's a dog.
That's why I wanted to do French seams. It's very frayy fabric, and I think it's just going to give it a better finish. So we're moving on to the sleeves next. I will bob back in a bit when we've got some more tips.
Yeah.
See you later. So we're back. Me and Steph had a right brainstormer yesterday, didn't we?
We did.
It was a bit of a nightmare.
And we eventually hit the bottle and gave up on the sewing.
You weren't meant to tell them that. So we didn't do any more updates. The last time you saw us, we'd finished the collar. But we have actually finished the Blair dress, haven't we?
We have 2 versions of.
And at the end, we'll do our little catwalk in them just to prove that we actually did sew them. But we're going to go through all the little niggles that we had on our journey yesterday, and it was a roller coaster ride.
It was a good job. We were doing it together, really. I mean, I consider we're both pretty seasoned sewers, but anybody beginning sewing would have really found this a challenge, I'm sure, because we were pretty baffled at times, weren't we?
Well, yes, but we've got it under our belt now. So if you're interested in doing the Blair dress and are put off by the instructions on a style art pattern, I'm going to put a vote up. And if I get enough votes for doing a sew-along, I'll do another one with a full sew-along, because I would have quite liked to have seen one, and there isn't one out there that I could find.
Yeah, and we found some ways that we'd have done it that might be easier. Certainly in the pocket section.
Yes. So let's talk about the sleeves. It has little cap sleeves in. An image will pop up here just to refresh your memory of what the Blair dress looks like. I'm not going to hide Steph's face. We'll put it in the corner. So, the cap sleeves, a few people had said that they were difficult. I found them quite easier than I thought they were going to be. And to get it into context, it's just like putting a binding around a quilt or anything else, but just a bit bigger and a bit more shaped. So I think if you've bound a quilt or put binding around anything before, or you use that method, that is what you're doing.
Should I demonstrate?
Yeah, you can. And you can explain your dilemma while you're at it.
Yeah, I will.
Because Steph had a little bit of a niggle.
Just only a little bit. And I still, to this day, can't work out why it happened.
I can't.
This pattern piece is like an ellipse shape, and you have to sew the 2 short ends together, which creates this little sleeve. And mine was too big by almost 2 inches. I had to move the seam up another full inch to fit the armhole. Now there's no stretch, a little bit of stretch on the bias with this fabric.
Yeah.
Not really, nothing to speak of. So it had to fit exactly.
And it is made for woven fabric.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't have had an issue with it. Mine was fine, but mine was a double gauze fabric, which has a lot of give in it.
It's the flexibility.
So I could ease it in, and it wasn't a perfect fit. Steph's, there was no way it was going to fit. What's the love?
Oh no, it's huge. But in the end,
beautiful.
It looks so nice.
Yeah, they do, and I like the way they've done it.
It was easy to put in once you've got the right size, and you can fold it back if you want to. So it's big enough just to fold back.
Yeah, and all the seams are concealed because it's done in a binding method.
Yeah.
On the inside, so you can fold the sleeve over. Nice. You're not going to see any raw edges. Very, very good finish. So apart from Steph's little issue, we were happy with the sleeve, and the instructions for the sleeve was pretty clear.
Yeah.
To us, anyway. Then we moved on to the pockets.
This is where the fun and games started, really.
And this is what tipped us over the edge and we forgot about vlogging. So, talk us through what you would have done, what the route that you took with the pockets.
Well, I chose to do belt and braces. I pinned and tacked and pressed and then top stitch, because it's the only way to put it in is to top stitch it.
On the outside, with the pocket on the inside where you can't see it.
Yeah, the pocket bag is a bit of a strange way to do, because they make you turn the hem all the way around and then sew it and then turn it through. So it ends up quite bulky. So we couldn't understand really why they'd done that. But we did it the way they told us to do it. It was fine. It did work.
Yeah.
But I think if I made another one,
you'd do it the traditional method of bagging it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I would too.
Yeah.
But it works the way that they tell you to do it. Don't get me wrong, it's not a fault or a criticism of the pattern instructions. It's just that we felt there was an easy way of doing it.
And that bottom piece is folded up and is loose over the seam, and it's there to show a hint in the curved
it's really cute.
It's a lovely pattern,
and it's a massive pocket.
It's a huge pocket. If you can imagine that length
is your pocket,
and then you've got the extra bit that folds up, so you've got this huge piece.
And you've got two of them. You could take a packed lunch and your tea.
Yes, you can.
In that.
And in the meantime, you've done a slit in the seam.
Well, that was beautiful.
Which is top stitched. Like, and then your top stitching follows the pocket bag to the top of the.
Yeah.
So it is a.
I'll put the diagram up here from the instructions so you can see what we were actually talking about. Might make it a bit clearer about where you do the top stitching.
You can't see on this fabric, but you can just about there. So if you did it in a less busy fabric, you'd want to get that top stitching really accurate. Absolutely. Because it really is a feature of the dress, and it's lovely when it's done.
Yeah, it is. Well done, Steph. And I took a different method and flew by the seat of my pants.
Which is typical Christine.
I know. But mine was a toile. I just kept saying all the way through, it's just a toile. It's cheap fabric, it's a toile.
Mistake number one.
Yes. But my fabric, I realised very quickly that you weren't going to see the top stitching.
Because disappears in.
Where's the top? Sorry about that. Where's the top stitching on there? Can anybody see it? I can't. See the pocket? Here. Little pocket. So let's turn it the wrong way. I pinned mine on the wrong. Where's the pocket? There's the pocket. I pinned mine on the wrong side.
And stitched it on the wrong
side. And stitched it on the wrong side. Close to the edge, tried to be neat, but not worrying too much about what it looked like on the outside. Now, obviously, if I was doing a plainer fabric where it was going to stand out, I would do it Steph's way, and I would definitely tack it down and use the tacking line to follow for your top stitching. It was a much better way of doing it because they had you pinning it from the outside and then just sewing it, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not a good idea because it can move around.
Like I said, the style art patterns assume that you know a lot, and they don't give you a great deal of information.
So, what did we think then? The rest of it, the plackets, I did them my way, you did them your way. You don't need instructions when you've made a few shirts or shirt dresses. Plackets are plackets. You find your own way of doing it. And it was just the plackets, so the side seams, and hem them, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And all the side seams were done, weren't they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you've done the side seams.
Yeah.
And the curve on the shoulder I liked.
Yeah, it's not a straight shoulder. It's got a nice rounded curve.
Really nice curve to it.
Great for us ladies with round shoulders.
The collar is back to front, what we normally do, isn't it?
It is.
But that came out beautifully neat because you've got the interface section on the inside, which is usually the other way around. And it did come out really, really neat. I'm chuffed to bits with that.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's a lovely stable fabric, which is
Yes.
ideal for making shirts. I kept
Mine.
telling Christine off because she kept saying, "Oh, it's twisted." Oh, I said, "Well,
Oh, nightmare.
choice of fabric."
Yeah. Don't use double gauze if you've never done it before. Note to self. It has turned out quite well.
Oh, it is lovely.
And I've done the top one way and the bottom like a rag, doesn't it? The other way, and then
The button placket.
the button placket to stand out. I'm happy with it. I'll reserve judgment. Let me know what you think of mine because you can tell I'm not loving it yet. But sometimes you have to wear things 2-3 times.
Oh yeah.
Now neither of us have put our buttons on.
Because we haven't got, well, I haven't.
I got the buttons, didn't think I got my button holder with me. And this morning I went, just found, jumped out of nowhere, right in front of my machine. But I decided I'm going to leave it till I get home. I didn't want to ruin a really good sew because the quality of the sewing I'm really pleased with. We took our time, didn't we?
We did.
That's what we've not told you.
How
long it took us. So let's check.
We're meticulous in our timekeeping. We noted start and finish times.
You can see here we've written it all down so that you know how long. If you sat at your sewing machine and did not move, it would take you to do the Style Art Blair dress and do a good quality finish. This hasn't been a quick sew. We've been, apart from me with the pockets where I got a bit irritated with it, it's been a precision sew, hasn't it?
It certainly has.
So,
including the curved hems. I am so chuffed with my curved hems.
Yes, I know you are. Amazing. So it took us, drum roll,
Ta-da!
6 hours, 20 minutes from start to finish. Now, that's a day really, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, you could easily make it in a day with a good break for lunch.
It's doable in a day. We've been slotting it in around other things,
Dog walking, sunbathing.
Yeah, a bit of
wine drinking.
Wine drinking, yeah, and the like. You know what you like when you're with a mate and you're on your own. We weren't just sewing. So it took us 6 hours 20 with quite a few breaks. So we're going to go now, put our Blair dresses on and give you a little twirl each and you can vote for which Blair dress you like the best. I don't know. I've just slipped that one in for Steph. I didn't tell her before because it would have put pressure on her. I don't want to put pressure on the mate. So we're going to put them on, minus the buttons. We're going to pin them closed. So
they will be pinned closed, I hasten to add.
I'm not going to flash my boobs at you, don't panic. And you can tell us in the community tab which one you prefer. So we're going to love you and leave you. Do our twirl, and we'll see you all next time.